first thing that we wanted to ask you, when we were sort of found out that we were going to be interviewing you, we were both sort of quite nervous and excited because obviously big fans of your work that you do. And my co-host here, Nathan, I noticed that when he gets nervous, he starts to eat, and he's been eating a lot of muffins, getting ready for it. And it got me wondering, like, is there anything that you do? I know you've been doing it for years, but is there anything that you do when you get nervous?
I think so. What would that be? Eat.
Eat?
You eat
Yeah.
muffins too?
I don't know about muffins, but certainly I start to nibble on snacks for sure.
Pussifer's out. It's a great album. We've been listening to it for the last couple of days, and you described it as a playground for various voices in your head. And I was just wondering, is it doing this project quietened the voices, or has it made them louder?
It's actually invited a few more in. It's getting a little chaotic here in my head.
How long did you know that was it before that you started doing this project that you knew it had to be done?
Well, I've been working on it since the mid-'90s, so it's just kind of been a slow burn. And I think just recently I kind of discovered how to multitask, and so it's just kind of opened up the opportunity to kind of get this done while I was doing something else.
How did you learn to multitask again? What's triggered that off?
I think just use of time. I just kind of get a little older and start realizing that you have extra time, and sitting around playing a PlayStation in between gigs just seemed to be kind of a waste of time.
Yeah. So how do you have it? Do you have like an inbox and like a laptop and everything on tour with you that you can fiddle away at? How do you...
The producer, Matt Mitchell, is our guitar tech. So we have all the gear underneath his bus and my bus, and we bust it out on days off and go into studios or hotel rooms, whatever we got to do.
The first thing I thought, Maynard, when I looked at it, the album artwork is really cool and really well done. And actually, the first listen to it, not that they sound the same or anything, but the first thing that came into my head was that it reminded me slightly of Peeping Tom. And just in the way that Mike Patton, from Faith No More had gone and done something completely sort of out of left field, which is sort of what this is similar to. Are you a fan of sort of that Peeping Tom album as well?
You know what? I haven't. To be honest, I haven't listened to it yet. And I know that's a crime because I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah.
But definitely Mike Patton and Josh Homme, those guys are definitely inspirations for a project like this. To watch, Josh throw together the Desert Sessions and then see Mike Patton wearing 16 hats at once. They're definitely my inspiration.
Awesome.
So.
I didn't want to sound like I was comparing them, but it definitely reminded me of the Peeping Tom when I first listened to it.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that album yet, but I should.
Yeah. I've got a question for you, Maynard. And we had the pleasure of interviewing Justin Chancellor when you were here for Tool for the big day out at the start of this year. And a question that I asked Justin was that in New Zealand, per capita, New Zealand are the biggest buyers of A, Bob Marley, and B, Tool. And I asked him what that made him think of New Zealanders, so I'd like to ask you the same question. What do you think it says about New Zealanders?
I'll reserve my answer and just see how the Pussifer CD sells.
With Pussifer as well, you've been working on it since the 90s. Like, have you been working on the songs for this album since then as well, or has it just been something that you finally put together over the last couple of years?
Well, I've kind of described it as kind of a multifaceted multimedia project. So I think the music part of it, the actual recording of an album CD process, is something that kind of came up in the last couple of years. Initially, it was just one-off soundtrack songs or some merch ideas. A lot of it having to do with some friends of mine used to run a comedy night in an LA club, and some of the stuff comes from there. It's the same club that Tenacious D was playing at.
Oh, cool.
That kind of stuff.
Have you had much chance of late, you're saying that you've learned how to multitask again with the comedy? Because I've often read that, I don't know whether a lot of it's true, you don't know whether to believe half of, well, you shouldn't believe half of what you read, but there has been a lot of talk that you've done in the past, a lot of stand-up comedy and that, bits of it. Have you had much chance of late to be doing much comedy yourself?
I know. I keep seeing it too. I didn't do stand-up at all. I did sketch, which is quite different. Sketch comedy is more like Monty Python or Kids in the Hall, Mr. Show kind of stuff. Stand-up's, one guy standing up there telling jokes, and that's a lot harder, I think. Sketch comedy, it's more kind of a little bit more scripted. There's kind of a play acting as somebody else or whatever. And lately I haven't really been able to do much of that. But as far as the comic element, you saw the artwork.
Yeah, I did.
Are you a big fan of Python?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Not to always back our own country or anything like New Zealanders do, but have you seen Flight of the Conchords at all?
You know what? Somebody just today mentioned that.
Hey.
But I should check it out.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. Bryce and Nathan.
Mom, I'm on the phone!
I just want to let you know there's 2 more minutes. I don't know why, but all the schedule is every 10 minutes for some reason. So.
Okay.
All right. Hold on.
All right. Time always goes quickly when we do these. Maynard, I wanted to ask you quickly what comes into your head, but if these bands were movies, what do you think they'd be? Black Sabbath?
Black Sabbath? It would be, a power outage on a barbecue weekend.
System of a Down?
Yeah, that one I don't know.
Nickelback might be easier.
Oh. I kind of get like a long-form version of a Little Rascals movie.
U2 was the final one.
U2?
Yeah.
Like a movie that has where the father and the son all of a sudden switch bodies, but then like the neighbors, the mother and daughter switch bodies, and the whole street everybody switches bodies from mother to daughter, son to father.
Maynard, you
went like a puppy or something.
I've read that there's not much. There hasn't been a lot of talk or planning of Puscifer coming and touring. Is that going to change?
As far as touring is concerned, if I'm going to take this project on the road, it's going to be more of a multimedia presentation, not just like 4 or 5 guys in a vehicle traveling about. It'll probably be more of a we'll do 4 shows in Chicago at a theater and film it and have different musicians come in and play each night, and lots of film and that kind of stuff.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry.
Mum's back.
Mum's back.
Mom, interrupting. All right, I have to take him and put him on to his next call.
That's all right.
All right. Hey,
Thanks.
thank you very much for that, James.
It's been a pleasure. Cheers, mate.
Peace.